right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A pretty impressive storm system out to our west is causing snow, severe weather, and a lot warmer temperatures to develop. How that impacts us into the overnight hours and whether or not severe weather is a threat for us.
Counting down to the Great American Eclipse. In 2 days, the celestial show traveling across North America, including parts of the bi-state.
I'm holding Kerwicki in Carbondale, Illinois, where thousands of eclipse watchers will gather in the coming days. Hear why researchers are using their eyes and ears to break down barriers along the path of totality.
But first, a St. Louis sports equinox. A sea of Cardinals, Blues, Battlehawks, and City SC fans taking over downtown, catching their teams in action on the same day.
It's well overdue. The city's been waiting for it, so it's really exciting to see.
Deadly crash investigation. A High Ridge teen ejected from his motorcycle. Why police are looking for witnesses tonight. Tomorrow marks 6 months in the Israeli-Hamas war. Why U.S. officials are preparing for another attack in the Middle East.
Temperatures this morning started off in the 20s, 30s, and 40s depending on where you were, but it's all about the wind shift. How that wind shift helps us overnight avoid this kind of freeze and what we're expecting the next few days.
Right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A pretty impressive storm system out to our west is causing snow, severe weather, and a lot warmer temperatures to develop. How that impacts us into the overnight hours and whether or not severe weather is a threat for us.
Counting down to the Great American Eclipse. In 2 days, the celestial show traveling across North America, including parts of the bi-state.
I'm holding Kerwicki in Carbondale, Illinois, where thousands of eclipse watchers will gather in the coming days. Hear why researchers are using their eyes and ears to break down barriers along the path of totality.
But first, a St. Louis sports equinox. A sea of Cardinals, Blues, Battlehawks, and City SC fans taking over downtown, catching their teams in action on the same day.
It's well overdue. The city's been waiting for it, so it's really exciting to see.
Thank you for joining us at 10 tonight. I'm Brent Solomon. For the first time in recent history, 3 major sporting events happening at one time in downtown St. Louis. 5 on your side's Annie Crawl caught up with Cardinals, Battlehawks, and City SC fans, all converging in one place.
The Cardinals kicked off the Saturday sports schedule with a win over the Miami Marlins. For fans, it was the start of a busy day in downtown St. Louis.
We have no plans with anyone else but us. We were thinking, how many people will we run into that we know, because there's so many games going on downtown.
Everybody's downtown
Yeah.
today. Yeah.
And also, we were wondering, how long are we going to be down here? We don't know.
Could be all day. Could be all day.
Till tomorrow.
Definitely all day if you're this guy, tailgating close to 8 hours before the Battlehawks' long-awaited home opener.
Defensive players, they're ball hawks, and I'm a big fan of the defense. So I go by Ball Hawk 1 because of that. I was inspired by Hawk an animal from WWE, as you know. That's where the shoulder pads come in.
Geared up for the now merged UFL League along with fellow Battlehawk fan Toby Brown, known as the Beard.
Oh, St. Louis pride when it comes to sports? I don't know any other city that can top St. Louis.
Whether it was to watch the Cardinals, the Battlehawks, or City SC play in St. Louis, it was downtown that was the place to be for all of those teams on Saturday if you were a St. Louis sports fan.
I mean, we're both from St. Louis, so I mean, we're both big supporters. I know I grew up watching the Cardinals my entire life, so yeah, it's fun. It's awesome to see all these teams coming together in one weekend.
City SC season ticket holders Gregory and Mary Cross tell me they came to the soccer pitch 4 hours before kickoff because of the giveaway.
It's very specific branded ravioli, toasted ravioli merchandise that the team does, and there's a limited supply, so we came out early to make sure we got some.
A deliciously distinct mark of St. Louis pride for a sports crazy town. Reporting in St. Louis, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
And let's not forget the Blues. They're playing a road game against the San Jose Sharks as they continue to chase a playoff spot. Corey Miller will have a recap later in sports. Well, tonight we're looking ahead to Monday's total solar eclipse. Weather First meteorologist Gary Frank now with what we can expect.
Yeah, good evening, Brent. We're still trending in the right direction when it comes to cloud coverage, but we've got more of a breakdown on what exactly high cloud cover, low cloud cover, how that's going to affect the sunlight. Now, as we head into the overnight hours, it's going to be a lot different than it was 24 hours ago because, we were talking about a frost and freeze, and now we're talking about thunderstorms that have crossed the state line from Kansas into Missouri. And while they're not severe, they're part of a system that is going to impact us tomorrow, and it's quite windy there as well. Temps still outside in the low to mid 50s, and off to the west, it's close to 60 degrees, if not exceeding that. Now behind it, much colder air, but I think as we start to settle in, we'll see a few storms by tomorrow morning. Our wind gusts right now still sit between 20 and 25 miles an hour, and that's something I think you can expect into the overnight hours. As our temps don't fall a lot, upper 40s for the most part, right around 50 degrees. It's breezy. We should stay relatively dry, but I think as we watch that front settle in, it's going to impact parts of our area tomorrow with clouds, of course, and rain early, but there are a few stronger storms that are possible. We'll talk about those areas that will impact us. We'll also break down the cloud coverage for your Monday afternoon eclipse forecast.
Well, we're less than 2 days away now from that great American eclipse, which will travel across North America. Part of the path of totality will move through southern Missouri and Illinois, blocking out the sun in cities like Cape Girardeau, Farmington, and even Mount Vernon. Right now, thousands of sightseers and scientists are traveling to both sides of the bi-state. Many consider it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, although it's actually the second time in 7 years that we've seen a total solar eclipse. We begin our eclipse coverage with 5 on your side's Holden Kerwicki in Carbondale, where that area will get over 4 minutes of darkness. Holden, lots of people heading there.
That's exactly right, Brent. They're expecting 50,000 visitors in this town of just over 25,000. And so far today, I've met people from states across the Midwest and as far away as Florida. But overall, things are relatively quiet tonight. But for a group of SIU researchers, that's actually a good thing.
As the moment of totality passes over Carbondale, SIU researcher Brent Pease will be like every other person along its path.
I will be looking to the sky with my kids when this eclipse event comes through.
However, the assistant professor in the Department of Forestry will also be keeping an ear out for what's happening around him.
We have hundreds of recorders all along the path of totality across the United States.
For 48 hours before and after the eclipse, audio recordings will be used to track how animals react to the celestial event.
There's been hundreds of years of written observations during eclipse. What happens to wildlife during these events? So we generally have some idea about what might happen. We typically see breeding birds quiet down. We'll see some nocturnal or crepuscular insects start to vocalize. There's some research suggesting that bees retreat to hives whenever the eclipse happens.
While the project is purely scientific, it will help establish a baseline for wildlife management that Pease says will be studied for centuries.
Yeah, it's really incredible. We're basing a lot of this research that we're doing on written reports from the 1500s. So this is a This isn't a frequent event, right? So this is a slow build, and we're just here in the right time at the right place to provide some information.
The groundbreaking work will later be used as part of a soundscape project to break down barriers surrounding the eclipse for the visually impaired.
While we're listening to the eclipse, there's a whole group of people in the United States and beyond that really can't see the eclipse the way that we are. So the Eclipse Soundscapes Project's partnering with the National Federation of the Blind as a way for them to engage and observe the eclipse through sound.
This entire project is being funded by NASA. Pease says what makes this research so important is that it will be used as a baseline for the next 350 years, which is when this area will experience its next eclipse. Reporting live in Carbondale, Illinois, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
All right, great work, Holden. If you're going to watch the eclipse, make sure you have the right glasses. You need to protect your eyes. 3 area stores are now recalling hundreds of eclipse glasses. Fink's Alps in Union, Missouri, B&H Market in Pacific, and Country Mart in St. Clair say their glasses don't meet safety standards. Customers are asked to return the glasses for a refund. If you want to make sure your glasses are safe, they must be ISO certified. So look for the number 12312-2. It will be somewhere on the glasses. For more information on the eclipse, just scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen or go to ksdk.com. If you're not able to get outside on Monday, we have you covered. Tune in to 5 on Your Side's live coverage along the path of totality. That's Monday from 1 until 2:30. You can also stream it on the 5+ app. Tonight, 2 teenagers are facing charges in a deadly crash in South St. Louis County Friday. Police say DeAndre Robinson and Patrick Ayton were racing each other on South Broadway when Robinson lost control, left the road, and then hit 2 construction workers. 34-year-old Chris Johnson died. His co-worker was seriously hurt and had to go to the hospital. Both Robinson and Ayton were charged with involuntary manslaughter and second-degree assault. Deadly crash investigation. A High Ridge teen ejected from his motorcycle. Why police are looking for witnesses tonight. Tomorrow marks 6 months in the Israeli-Hamas war. Why U.S. officials are preparing for another attack in the Middle East.
Temperatures this morning started off in the 20s, 30s, and 40s depending on where you were, but it's all about the wind shift. How that wind shift helps us overnight avoid this kind of freeze and what we're expecting the next few days.